Good evening, everybody. We'll start with our Mahatmiyam. Yasya bhavat bhaktajana shanto vipatunanye kavijaya dolam samve avtar avole gaashe vade gavashat natisana lakshmi asman nidamabam pili sanprode Shriman Venkatanathaya Kadaki Vedanta Acharya Vipute Sanjatam Sani Pravatya Nirvatyanam Nishatyam Vasabha Sharanam Bhavitnanam Sargom Vishnu Srimad Rangasara Vimural Abdagamantadvayam Srimad Veeragurvati Jaladipala Andashyam Srimad Veeradam Sadeshidehe Karmi Nikshasaram Severangarin Sashanam Narayan Yoginam Vedanta Deshke Indra Shabda Triyanta Saramanam Brahmadagriam Narayanadi Ilmur Kajishtam Chikanadi Krishnamashrama Shivadesi Lakshmi Sudhuvalga Sivadesi Sivan Sarvati Narayan Hindu Mahadishkama Shivadesi Sarvati Ranganadi Hindu Mahadishkama. Welcome everybody. We are delighted to have Sri Uwe Dushyanth Sridhar with us. He's been here twice before in Atlanta, and so we're very happy to have him address us, and especially on a very good subject that's so important, the Vishnu Sahasranamam, Mahatmiyam, the greatness of Vishnu Sahasranamam that all of us, most of you just chanted. The best part of it is the Swami does not need any introduction to anybody here. So he's part of our family. So in everybody's house, he's there constantly. He's either on your iPad, YouTube, or on TV, and all of us follow him, wherever he is. So we all know Swami very well. So generally, you don't need to introduce a family member to other family members. So if you've never heard of him, welcome to our new family. So please join us because you will be part of our family by the time the Pravachanam ends in 5 days. So we are very happy. So as Swami told me, there's no need to have a long introduction. So I wanted to keep it as short as possible because if the time comes, he will speak over my voice. So I'm going to be very nice and not try to take his time. So we'll start in a few minutes. So thank you all for coming. And again, as you know, the program, it's for 5 days, every day from 6:30 to 8:30. We want to start the recitation of Vishnu Sahasranamam around 5:45 so we can finish in time. Because you never know about traffic, how long it takes to come. That's why we wanted to start at 5:45 and have enough time to finish before Swami is able to address us. So I'll take a few minutes off here and then we'll pass it on to Swami for his start of the lecture in a few minutes. Yeah, let's set it up. Feedback different.
Volume. Correct. Kunchu correct. Or my red.
as Swami requested, we wanted to again honor him and welcome him, but he didn't want a very big garland because that will be on his neck for the next 2 hours. And our garlands are very heavy. So per Swami's wish, we want to welcome him with a garland, but a pavitra mala. Swami himself doesn't know that this pavitra mala was worn by Swami Desigan at Tupu. Haryana.
Ramanuja Dayapatram Yanavairagya Bhushanam Srimadvenkatanathāryam Vande Vedanta Deshikam Lakshminatha Samarambham Natha Yamuna Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Yo Nityam Achyuta Padambuja Yugmarukma Vyamohata Staditarani Trinayamene Asmad Gurur Bhagavatosya Dayeka Sindhoho Ramanujasya Charanau Sharanam Prapatye Mata Pita Yuvatayasthanaya Vibhutis Sarvam Yadeva Niyamena Madalvayana Adyasya Kulapater Vakulabhiramam Srimat Tadangri Yugalam Pranamami Mudhna Bhutam Sarascha Mahadakpaya Bhattanada Sri Bhaktisara Kulashekara Yogi Vahan Bhaktangrirenu Parakala Yatindra Mishran Srimat Parankushamunim Pranatosmi Nityam Narayanam Namaskritya Naranchaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Vyasam Vasishtha Naktaram Shakte Pautram Akalmasham Parasharatmajam Vande Shukatatam Taponidhim Vyasaya Vishnu Rupaya Vyasa Rupaya Vishnave Namo Vai Brahmanidhaye Vasishtaya Namo Namah Achaturvadanor Brahma Vibahur Aparohari Apara Rochana Shambhu Bhagavan Badarayana Parasharya Vachasudham Sumanasaha Dubdhabdi Madhyodritam Samsaradhi Vidipana Vyapagata Pranatma Sanjeevani Purvacharya Surakshitam Bahumatim Vyaghata Durasthitam Anitam Tu Nijaksharehi Sumanasaha Bhauma Pibantvan Vaham Yo Goshatam Kanakashunga Mayam Dadati Vipraya Veda Vidusheja Bahushrutaya Punyamscha Bharata Katham Shrunyamscha Nityam Tulyam Bhavati Tasya Chaiva Vande Govinda Tatau Muni Matha Manavai Lakshmanaryam Mahantam Dhyayeyam Yamunaryam Mama Hridita Navai Ramameva Abhiyamam Padmaksham Prekshashiya Prathamamapi Munim Natha Nideshatarim Staumi Preksheya Lakshmim Sharanam Asharanaha Sridharam Samshayeyam Shri Parashara Bhattaryaha Shri Rangesha Purohitaha Shri Vatsanka Suta Shriman Shreyase Me Subhuyase. Namaskars to the Astikas of Atlanta who have driven from different quarters of the city on a Monday evening. Monday morning is a moment, a sickening moment for people who work. And Monday evening is no different. And like the Jivatma that waits for that day, that moment when the Jivatma will part from the material body, so does the working person wait for the Friday. So such being the scenario, I'm extremely indebted to the benign blessings of the Pontiff of Sri Ahobilamat, the Peethadipati, Prakritam Srimad Aravishingar, in Sanskritam Sundara Simha, the Astika Paras and the Bhagavatottamas who have been performing yeoman service in Sri Ahobilamat, USA, to Sri Raghavan Rajaji Mama, to the Astikas of Sri Ahobilamat, and I'm sure Swami Narayan temple, which has graciously given this place to us for the next 4 days. The topic chosen for this week is Sri Vishnu Sahasranamam Mahatmiyam. Vishnu Sahasranamam, of course, is super famous. I don't have to tell what Sri Vishnu Sahasranamam is. Nevertheless, this work is so important that it has been commented upon by Trimatasthas. All the acharyas of Advaita, Vishishtadvaita, Dvaita philosophy have deemed Sri Vishnu Sahasranamam so important. A lot of questions do come up in the mind, in our minds, of course, about the validity, the sheer importance that's given to this work by the various acharyas. Is it corroborated? Is it substantiated? And so on. In the due course of next 5 days, I shall try covering as much as possible. Of course, even if I have to dedicate, let's say, 5 to 7 minutes for a nama, multiply it with 1000 namas and divide it by 60 to get the number of hours, and then have 2 hours per day, then I will need at least a mandalam, 48 days, which the veteran Sengalipuram Anantarama Dikshita Kariva used to do it in Venus Colony, Ardarpet. 48 days he used to speak and people used to come. I'm sure I can't speak for 48 days continuously, and I'm even more sure that people won't come for 48 days. So I have to condense all of this in a span of 5 days. So I shall pick and choose those portions of Sri Vishnu Sahasranamam which may be applicable, relevant, and relatable to all of us. That's one. Second, I did speak about, I did utter a few dhyana shlokams. Some are very well known, some are lesser known. One, Achaturvadanor Brahma, Dvibahur Aparo Harihi, Abhalalochana Shambhu, Bhagavan Badarayana. So we are all indebted in a way to Vedavyasa. Why? Because Vedavyasa has given us a plethora, he has given us a library in Sanatana Dharma. So much so that when you look at the works that Vedavyasa or Krishna Dvaipayana has given us, we have bequeathed from him, we will be surprised with the creations he has come up. So we wonder if he is Brahma. If he is Brahma, because he has given us beautiful creations. But Brahma has 4 heads. Vyasa has 1. So the shloka says, Achatur Vadano Brahma. He is Brahma minus 3 heads. He is Brahma minus 3 heads. Looking at the way the best, we talk about the best industry practices. So he does give us a few suggestions, practices that is quite applicable to us for our sustenance. So when he talks about sustenance and protection, he kind of apes Sriman Narayana, Vishnu. But Vishnu has 4 hands. Tamadbhutam balakam ambujekshanam chaturbhujam says Shukla Brahmam in Dashamaskandam. When he's born with 4 hands. Dharma artha kama moksha chaturvida purushartha palam. He has 4 hands. But Vyasa has 2. So he's Vishnu minus 2 hands. Dvibahur aparo harihi. When he talks about how the Jivatma parts from the material body, how it goes through various bodies for Punarjanma, Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam, in a way, he's trying to give us a vivid description of what Shiva does on the Shrashana Bhumi. He's the one who clears this material body. So he's Rudramurti minus the 3rd eye. Aphala Lochana Shambhu. So he is Brahma minus 3 heads. Vishnu minus 2 hands, Shiva minus 1 eye. And his name is Vedavyasa. Achatur Vadanor Brahma, Dvibahur Aparo Harihi, Aphala Lochana Shambhu, Bhagavan Badarayana. So we are extremely indebted to Vedavyasa for giving us this gamut, this library of literature. That said, one of his biggest creations is Sri Mahabharata. He has beautifully compiled the work as is. That is his greatest contribution. His father speaks about his greatness. Parashara Maharishi says, Krishna Dvaipayanam Vyasam Vidhinarayanam Prabhu Gohyanyo Bhuvi Maitreya Mahabharata Bhavet. Who but my son Vyasa can create a magnum opus such as Sri Mahabharata? So Vyasa was extremely regarded and is still regarded. In his Mahabharata, there are Pancharatnas. First of all, Mahabharatam itself is called Bharatam Panchamo Veda. It is called the fifth Veda because it tries to bring the quintessence of the first 4 Vedas, Rig, Yajur, Sama, Atharvana. And over and above that, this Mahabharata houses 5 Ratnas. It has Yaksha Prashnam, Vidura Niti, Sanat Sujatiyam, Bhagavad Gita, and Sri Vishnu Sahasranamam. All of these, the 5 works that our acharyas have called as Pancharatnas. Of course, music has a different set of Pancharatnam. It is called Ghana Panchakaraga. But this has Pancharatnam. All these 5 Pancharatnas are a product of 2 people speaking. One person asks, the other person answers. So this has another message to us in Sanatana Dharma. In the current day, when many generations back in the 1960s, 70s, 80s, 90s, when many Bharatiyas migrated to this beautiful land and made this their homeland, and eventually their children are making it their homeland too. They are citizens of this land. We still have that little roots to the civilization, if not the exact geography. And schools and colleges and universities have comparative religion. They talk about what are the tenets of each religion. So an oft heard asked question that I come across from the ABCDs is, sir, in Sanatana Dharma, what is the USP? What is the Pradhana Pratitantra of Sanatana Dharma? Love everybody, humanity is to serve all, service to God, service to every religion. It may be varying in degrees, whether you have to take 1% of your salary and do charity, whether you have to give your entire salary for charity, all that differs. But basic principles, you breathe in, breathe out, the body, paropakarathamidam shariram, serve people, give prasadam, all this every religion talks about. What is the USP? Pradhana Pratitantra. Pradhana Pratitantra is you are allowed to question whether you will get the answer and whether the answer that you get is convincing enough to you at that point in time, because answers can be convincing over a period of time. So whether the answer is convincing enough at that point in time or over a period of time is debatable, but you're still allowed to question. How do we know if the religion or the civilization allows us to question? These 5 gems that I have spoken as integral to Mahabharatam are a product of people questioning and answering. Imagine 4 brothers are lying dead. This man comes, the 5th man comes, he deserts his wife, Draupadi, and says, you take care of yourself, I need to go find my 4 brothers. He comes to the pond. He listens to an ethereal voice that says, answer my questions and then drink water. I would have said, hell with you. Answering 124 questions to drink 1 glass of water. I would have found another day. He patiently answers 124 questions. See, generally, in such compendiums of questions and answers, the name of the work is known by the answer. You don't call it Yudhishthira Prashnam. You call it Vishnu Sahasranamam because the answer was given by Bhishmacharya. The answer is known to the world as Vishnu Sahasranamam. Arjuna puts forth wonderful set of questions, but it is still not called Arjuna Prashna. It is Bhagavad Gita, the answer which has got the name. But there is only one work in Sri Mahabharatam where the answers were beautiful, the questions were even more. So it is called Yaksha Prashnam. It is known by the set of questions. So we have Yaksha Prashnam, Sanat Sujatiyam. We have Vidura Niti. Dhritarashtra asks questions and Vidura, his brother, answers. Vidura Niti. Of course, we have Krishna and Arjuna. Krishna's answers that from and then Yudhishthira's questions and Bhishmacharya's answers, which is Sri Vishnu Sahasranamam. So the fifth Veda is called Mahabharatam. How many Ratnas are there in Mahabharatam? Right, very good. Now this Vishnu Sahasranamam came during the times of Sri Mahabharatam. When did Mahabharatam happen for that? See, one, I would not say it's a disadvantage, yet in my opinion, my humble opinion, our ancestors could have taken little more care of to document the dates. We were more into the philosophy, so we were never bothered about preserving the strand of hair of Vyasa, the tooth of Valmiki. See, we could have done all of that, right? Every year I could have shown this is the hair of Vyasa, all of you see. This is the tooth of Valmiki. But our ancestors thought, what is the message that I'm trying to convey? If I show you the hair, maximum we can do is this and this. That's all. What more can we do? What will we do with that keratin? What will we do with the calcium deposit? So our acharyas thought might as well we give them works like Ramayana, Mahabharata. That is what our children will want. But they were unaware that universities both in the Eastern world and the Western world will give so much of importance to dates. Everybody says, when was Vyasa born? When did he first have this solid food? Give me the date. That date and all we don't have. Satyavati, his mother, did not bother to preserve all those dates. Nevertheless, let's keep Mahabharata as our benchmark. When did this happen? So we believe in manuscripts, we believe in inscriptions, we believe in copper plates. So when we date, Astika Jana, Yeshtu Jana in Karnataka Pradeshadinda idira. Wonderful. So in Karnataka, in the North Karnataka, we have a golden triangle of Chalukyan architecture. It is called Badami, Aihole, Pattadakkal. This is one golden triangle of Chalukyan architecture, roughly between the 3rd, 4th century AD till about 8th century AD. They were very strong, prominent. This dynasty was called Chalukyan dynasty. There is one Chalukyan here. In north part of Gujarat, there was another dynasty called Chalukyan dynasty. We should not get confused. In Chalukyan dynasty, Pulakeshin was a very important king. In Aihole Durga temple, we have an inscription that clearly states when this king was born. When stating, it states after how many years after Mahabharata Yuddham he was born. That's how the inscription goes. From that, we are able to find out the date of Mahabharata Yuddham. Roughly, it comes to about 3102 BCE. So we are now in 2023 AD. Roughly 5,000 plus years. Roughly. So this 5,000 plus years is important because when you read your Panchangam, your almanac, it will say Kali Varsham 5,000 plus years. So we are counting Mahabharatam, the culmination of it, as the beginning of Kali Yugam and the end of Dwapara. So this 3102 BC is roughly 300-400 years before the start of the Indus Valley civilization that came around Mohenjo-daro, Harappa, Dholavira, Rakhigad, all this around Punjab there's one Punjab, big portion in Pakistan. Then there is a Sindh Pradesham where Jayadratha ruled once. Then we have Rajasthan, upper part of Gujarat, Haryana. This is where we believe that Saraswati river flowed. We have various tributaries to it like Ikshumati and so on. So this is that region. And Mahabharata must have happened 300-400 years before the Indus Valley civilization, alongside the second dynasty of Egyptian civilization. How many of you have been to Egypt? Have you gone to Luxor, the Sun Temple? Have you been there, Luxor? It's by the banks of River Nile. It's a sun temple. So alongside that time, why I'm telling you is history is also very important. Now, around that period came Sri Mahabharata. When did Vyasa compose? Vyasa lived during the times of Mahabharata because Vyasa was the one who helped in sustaining the dynasty because Vichitravirya was dead. So through Ambika, Ambalika and Ambalika's maidservant, he had children, Dhritarashtra, Pandu and Vidura. So he lived during the times of Mahabharata. So this compendium called Mahabharata must have been composed by Vyasa only during the Yuddham or after the Yuddham. So it is around that period. So Vishnu Sahasranamam must have also been recorded during that period. But after this Indus Valley civilization, we had the rise of Buddhism and Jainism to a large extent. Hinduism, Sanatana Dharma underwent a slow lull period. So then we had Mimamsakas coming like Kumarila Bhatta, and again it started peaking around the Shankara period. Of course, there is a slight difference of opinion in Adi Shankara's dates. I'm not getting into the pros and cons of the dating. But going by little historical details, let's keep Adi Shankara between 788 and 812 AD, which is around the 8th and 9th century. Shankara gave one of the most prominent commentaries to Vishnu Sahasranamam. This was around the 8th, 9th century. Then came the celebrated student of Bhagavad Ramanuja alongside. He was also the son of Ramanuja's student called Purattalvan or Puresha. His name was Parashara Bhatta. With the abundant blessings of his Manasika Guru, who was Bhagavad Ramanuja, he gave a commentary. That commentary is called Bhagavad Guna Darpanam. So Adi Shankaracharya gave us a commentary. Parashara Bhatta gave us a commentary. One Acharya from the Dvaita Sampradaya. Any Madhvas here? So in Madhva Sampradayam, there is a Uttaradi Matha, very important Matha. In that, one Acharya gave us one Bhashyam. Now I've told you these three Bhashyams. To explain every Bhashyam is beyond the scope of this 5-day lecture. I'll just pick up certain portions and explain. One, Parashara Bhatta's commentary, which is being placed here, will occupy a central portion. Now, what Parashara Bhatta says is, each name, each nama of the Lord in Sahasranamam denotes a gunam of the Lord. So he says, when you write down the names of the Lord, Vishwam, Vishnu, Vashatkaraha, Bhuta Bhavya Bhavat Prabhu, Bhuta Krit, Bhuta Brit Bhavaha, Bhutatma, Bhuta Pavanaha, till Sarva Praharana Yudhaha. If you write that on a list and keep a beautiful mirror in front of, what mirror? Aranmula mirror. Even see, there are no Malayalis. It's okay. How many of you use coconut oil? Then you're all Malayalis. So there is a place called Aranmula. It is near Kottayam. Alvar calls it Thiruvaranvilai. It is also an important place for devotees of Ayyappa. Aranmula. This Aranmula has a beautiful connection with Indus Valley civilization. Because during the Indus Valley civilization came up this concept of creating mirrors. But that mirror was created by polishing the metal surface. You keep polishing the metal in a prescribed manner, that metal piece akins a mirror. So this is found even today. In Aranmula, you can go get Aranmula mirror. So let's keep an Aranmula mirror in front of this big roster of names of the Lord. What you see is not the reflection of the names. What you see is the associated gunam, the quality that the name of the Lord denotes. So, a mirror in Sanskritam is called darpanam. So, if you write down the names of the Lord, the namas of the Lord of Vishnu Sahasranamam, look into the mirror, you see only the gunam of the Lord. So, this commentary by Parashara Bhatta to Vishnu Sahasranamam is called Bhagavad Guna Darpanam. So, we are going to look at that now. Given this introduction, let us now understand some subtle differences between Mahabharatam and Bhagavatam, because people often get confused. Bharatam, Bhagavatam. Mahabharatam is an itihasa. It was written as is. Vyasa saw, he wrote. Direct report. Bhagavatam came slightly later when Vyasa's son Shuka Brahman and Arjuna's grandson Parikshit had to talk to each other. So it is a Purana means events would have happened in the past. Those events will be narrated by the people who are witnesses to it to another set of people. That another set will narrate it to another set. Like this, it will go 2-3 times. Then finally, one student will ask the teacher, sir, can you tell me that Charitram? Then that Rishi will say, I will tell you that Charitram, but very good. The same question what you have asked, even one more Rishi asked. You have seen that Woodward's grape water advertisement. Same thing. Now, that is why if you go to Nrisimhavatam, generally people will start Saptamaskandam Bhagavatam Prahlada comes. It doesn't work that way. In Bhagavatam, Shuka Brahman will answer, Parikshit will ask. So Parikshit asks, Samapriya Suhur Brahman Lokanama Vayankaraha Indrasyarte Katham Daityan. Now tell me, why is the Lord a bit partial towards Prahlada? This was his question. To which Shuka Brahman will say, very good question. See, first of all, when somebody asks a question, you should appreciate them. Super. Then they won't even bother to listen to the answer. That is the tactic. So Shuka Brahman says, Parikshit, excellent question. You have asked the same question what your grandfather's elder brother asked. Whose grandfather's elder brother? Yudhishthira asked the same question to Narada. Now, when Narada was asked this question by Yudhishthira, Narada said the same question was asked by Rishabhanu to Hiranyakashipu. Now, Hiranyakashipu tells the same situation that we are in. A king called Suyagnya of Ushinara country had. Then Yamadeva will say the same question I told as an answer as a little boy to a hunter. So there is a story within a story, within a story, within a story, within a story. So this generally occurs in a Purana. And Puranam is equally valid, very respected. But when there is a conflict between the narration given in the Itihasa and the Purana, one of the stalwarts in Sri Vaishnava Sampradayam called Manavala Mamunigal, great Acharya, he states that Itihasa statement should be given more prominence. Itihasa Purana Bhyam Vedam Samupabdham. Why am I telling all this, sir? You are telling something irrelevant. Why? Because Bhagavatam Draupadi is soft. Mahabharatam Draupadi is ferocious. You know that? Yeah. Now, I will tell you that and then I'll get into what are the 6 specialities of Vishnu Sahasranamam. First, Draupadi's birth itself is very unique. It is logically untenable to us now. When Drona was humiliated, Drona said, I will avenge my humiliation by sending me Sishya. Arjuna came and took the sword from a scabbard and then pulled Drona and said, I'll kill you, but I will not, because you're my teacher's friend. I will take you to my teacher. Now, Dronacharya said, since I have won over you, Drupada, the entire Panchala Desham belongs to me. The entire Panchala Desham belongs to me. Now I will give half that Panchala Desham to you. I will give you Dana. Now you rule. Half I will take. While saying so, he didn't realize that Drupada was waiting to avenge this humiliation. So he wanted a son who could vanquish Drona in a war. So he called two rishis. One rishi said, I'm very busy. They have called me to Hindu temple of Atlanta and back, so I'm very busy. So the other rishi said, I will perform Putrakameshti. So Putrakameshti was performed and appeared a son called Drishtadyumna. He was made, his purpose was itself to kill Drona. That is his purpose of life, to kill another person. So Drishtadyumna was born. Then the Yagavatika was to be cleared. They said, clean up everything. Now all your food packets are ready. All of you who have come, take it and go, take one bottle, everything they said. Suddenly, one lady appeared from the area. Drupada didn't expect this. He said, who is this lady? Kumari chapi panchali vedi madhya samuthita shubhaga darshaniyangi vedi madhya manorama Shyama Padma Palashakshi Neela Kunjita Mudraja. Very pretty she was, dark, Shyama. Padma Palashakshi. You take a newly blossomed lotus, take two petals, attach it on her face. It was so beautiful, large eyes. Shyama Padma Palashakshi Neela Kunjita Mudraja. If you put that spotlight from behind, you can see that little tinge of blue in her hair. Neela Kunjita Mudraja. Tamratungi Nakhi Subru Charupina Payodhara Panchali came. No, he didn't expect one girl also to come. This was a bonus offer. So Panchali came. Now the advantage with Drupada was he didn't have to put the child to a magnet school, whether she has to take stem, branch. When she came itself, 2 days her Swayamvaram was arranged. Her time spent with the parents was just 2 days. So kings were called and finally she was won over by Arjuna. Then she goes, then her life takes, see, she was born 2 days back. From after 2 days of her birth, problems begin. Instead of 1-to-1 function in set theory, she became many-to-1. Unexpected it was. So then she had to marry all the 5. Lot of problems. Then she was humiliated in the Sabha. That time, while she was being humiliated in the Sabha, she says, how dare this Dushyasana pull my hair? I will not tie my hair. Then Pandavas asked, what should we do to tie your hair? Ferocious Draupadi. She said, I need the blood that oozes out from the chest of Dushyasana. She had 5 husbands. So Bhima said, don't worry, I will get that blood. Full blood bath. There is one verse called Veni Samhara. So ferocious Draupadi. Then Krishna also came and said, I'm so upset, Draupadi. He tells in Vanaparva, I can't see my best friend being humiliated like this. I will do my best, Krishna said. The thing happened. Now the Mahabharata Yuddham is over. After Mahabharata Yuddham is over, Bhagavatam Draupadi comes. Mahabharata Yuddham, Draupadi is ferocious. Now Bhagavatam Draupadi we will see. What happens? And this giving you a base, I have to go back to Vishnu Sahasranamam now. Ashwathama was the son of Dronacharya. Dronacharya, in order to avenge Drupada, we have to go back, like that curious case of Benjamin Button. We have to keep going forward and backward. So, this Ashwathama was the only son of Drona. Drona's wife was Kripacharya's sister. Her name was Kripi. Simple name, Kripa Kripi. So this Kripi and Drona had a son called Ashwathama. Dronacharya, in order to avenge the humiliation meted to him by Drupada, was in a resolve to teach only the Kshatriyas. So in order to draw the attention is where you must have heard how he put one grass after the other, attracted the Kauravas. The sons of Dhritarashtra and Pandu run to Bhishma and say, Bhishma, we have found a great teacher. So they recruit. That time there was a agreement signed with Drona. He will not teach any other child but the one who falls in the Kuru dynasty. That time Dronacharya said, everything is fine, I will not teach anybody, but exception to this rule, please give it to my son, Ashwathama. Ashwathama alone will study, nepotism. He said, my son will study. So, a teacher should be impartial. That is the first rule. Vaishamyam, Nairghanyam should not be there in a teacher. But Dronacharya was a good teacher in the aspect of affection and partiality. He was different. What was he doing? There is one incident. You go check. You can fact check me. If I have spoken something which is wrong or untrue, correct me tomorrow. In Adi Parva, it comes. He used to send all the sons of Dhritarashtra and Pandu with a jar, ghatam, to go fetch water from the waters of the lake. They all used to carry that pot. That pot was very, very narrow in its opening. Long, narrow opening. So when you insert that ghatam into the waters, first the air has to get displaced for the water to go. If it's narrow opening, it will take more time for the air to come out and the water to get in. Imagine it takes 10 minutes for all the princes of Dhritarashtra and Pandu. He used to give a different pot to Ashwathama, which had a broad opening. So if others take 10 minutes, he will take 3 minutes. So if in that gap of 7 minutes, the father used to teach him extra astrams. It comes in Adi Parva. Check this out. That is Vyasacharya's greatness. We ask, right, you see, you can still misappropriate, I'm talking from Bangladesh, you can still escape the ED, Enforcement Directorate, by being corrupt in a very strategic and meticulous manner. You can do it very beautifully. Dronacharya did that, but Vyasa reports it. Very good journalism. Good and journalism doesn't go together, but still he was. Now, the beauty was, that is the greatness. Now, when Ashwathama used to come running to the father, father, I filled my pot. The father, Dronacharya, had a surprise. Arjuna also used to come running at the same place. Now he asked, how did you get it? Arjuna said, I read it in a few manuscripts about Varunastram. So I used to invoke Varuna Bhagavan here itself and I never used to go to the pond. That is Arjuna's greatness. That is what meritocracy is. So Drona thought, see, there is no other way but to teach those astrams to Arjuna as well. And Drona had a huge love for Arjuna, no doubt. This happened. Now we have to go back. All this in their childhood and adulthood. Now let's go back to the few days before Mahabharata Yuddha. Big strategy. Ashwathama knew a lot of astras in this process, which Pandavas did not know. Somehow the father used to manage. He used to send one encrypted message, he used to open with the key and used to read. So all this happening, Krishna thought it is not wise for Ashwathama to be the commander-in-chief of Kauravas. So he wanted Ashwathama's name to fall into the bad books of Shakuni. So what he did, before the Yuddham, while Duryodhana and Shakuni were looking from the gazebo or the balcony, he went close to Ashwathama and said, Ashwathama, I think it is time for Sandhya Vandanam. Can we both go? So from a distance, Shakuni and Duryodhana could not listen to what they were speaking, but Krishna was doing all hand gestures. So Shakuni had a doubt, is he trying to pull Ashwathama into his fold? This man can do anything. Don't trust him. Now they followed him to the banks of the river. So Krishna slowly slid the ring from his finger. Ashwathama collected it. He said, Krishna, it is falling. So from a distance, Shakuni said, He has bribed. Done. So now he fell into the bad books of Shakuni. Now Krishna checked slowly. Side glances. So Krishna said, deal done. Now you do whatever you want. Ashwathama, though adept in so many astrams, was never made the commander-in-chief. So he was always the leader in the waiting. Bhishma became the commander-in-chief. After Bhishma, he thought the position will come to him. Then it went to Drona. So he thought after my father's turn, it will normally come to the son, dynasty. So he thought it will come to me. Then after Dronacharya, it went to Karna. After Karna, he thought, thank God I will become. Now it went to Karna's Sarathi called Shalya. Now Yuddha was close to over because Duryodhana had fallen by the banks of the lake with his spine and thigh wounded. That's all. When the leader is out, then whom are you fighting for? Nobody left on the side. In Tamil, they are saying, Aade illada kayala yarukra thiya. So, that's all. That time only 3 people were left. Drona's son Ashwathama, Ashwathama's uncle Kripa, and Kritavarma. 3 people were left. While these 3 people were left, they went to the wounded Duryodhana, and Duryodhana said, what do I do now? I'm close to loss. That is when Ashwathama said, don't lose. Not lose. Make me the commander-in-chief. 3 people. 2 MP in Lok Sabha for us in fact. 2 MPs will be there. There will be one leader. So here he was made a commander-in-chief. Now Ashwathama now thinks there is no army to fight. How will he win over the Pandavas? That is when we have this parva called Sautantika Parva. We have Adi Parva, Sabha Parva, Vana Parva. I'll ask these parvas now. Virata Parva, Udyoga Parva, Bhishma Parva, Drona Parva, Karna Parva, Shalya Parva, Sautantika Parva. What this Ashwathama does, in order to get some good ideas, in those days, poets, they have to sit by the fields, then only they'll be able to compose. So in order to get ideas, he sits under the shade of a banyan tree. It was around the night time. There he observes a lot of crows seated on the branches. Suddenly, a ferocious owl gets into its pack and kills many crows and starts consuming the kakamamsa. Owls are generally very nocturnal, nishacharaha. So from this he gets the idea, why should I fight them during the day? I can fight them during the night. So while he approaches the camp of the Pandavas, he hears the soldiers speak, the 5 are sleeping. He thought the 5 are Pandavas. He shoots an arrow at each, 5 of them killed. Next day he opens the Times of Hastinapura newspaper. The 5 sons born to Draupadi from the Pandavas were dead, not the Pandavas. Now, that is when he gets very angry. Meanwhile, Krishna tells, go fetch that Ashwathama, that wretched man here. Arjuna runs behind Ashwathama, pulls him and drags him, throws him before Panchali. Now Panchali, Bhagavatam Panchali. She says, don't harm him, he's your Guru Putra. She has lost her 5 sons. See, that is why I said, Mahabharatam Panchali is very ferocious. Bhagavatam Panchali is very calm. She said, don't kill him. Leave him. So then once they leave him, this man doesn't stop here. He says, if I've killed the 5, I'll kill the next generation. That is when he understands Abhimanyu's wife, Uttara, is pregnant. So he shoots an astram called Apandave astram, which will kill the fetus within the womb of another. as he shoots. Now Uttara, her mother-in-law Subhadra, Subhadra's co-wife Draupadi, their mother-in-law Kunti, all of them were living. They were all suffering from good health. So they all surrendered to Krishna. Krishna Mahavaho Paramatma Sanatana. That is when Krishna manages to enter the garbham of Uttara as an Angushtamatra Purusha. Draumyasya Viplushta Midam Madangam Santana Bijam Puru Pandavana Jugopa Pukshin Gadiyatta Chakraha Matuschami Sharanam Gataya. Krishna takes the form of Angushtamatra Purusha, goes around the fetus. So the amniotic fluid that we see, 3 amnion, chorion, placenta, right? So this child as a fetus within the mother's womb now worries. This is the only place where there is no encroachment. Who is that who has entered this place and is going around me? He checked. So the Lord went around this fetus. Often we understand, since it is Vishnu Sahasranamam, name. See, name is our identity, right? At the end of the day, somebody has to recognize us. It is through our name, Nama. Why was she called Uttara? Abhimanyu Patri was called Uttara. Ut means something higher. Uttara, the superior woman. Sir, isn't it wrong in the current day society to call somebody superior? I can't help. She was called Uttara. Why was she called Uttara? Because Adi Shankara's mother was Aryamba. Bhagavad Ramanuja's mother. See, we are now in the beautiful phase of Shankara Ramanuja Jayanti. Ramanuja's mother was Kantimati. Vedanta Deshika's mother was Totaramma. Great mothers, because they produce some of the greatest acharyas, greatest thinkers. They produce the best of Bhagavatottamas, the best of devotees, priceless devotees they produced. What is the greatness of Kaushalya? She produced the Lord himself. She gave birth to Rama. Devaki gave birth to Krishna. Kaushalya and Devaki gave birth to Bhagavan. Aryamba, Totaramma, Kantimati gave birth to Bhagavata. But Uttara was the only one. At one point in time, she had Bhagavan and Bhagavata in her garbha. So she's called Uttara. Now, this child started looking around. Ikshate is to see. Pari means to see around. Pari Ikshate. Parikshit was his name. So Parikshit was born, and later Parikshit became the listener of Srimad Bhagavata Mahapurana. Correct? So our understanding of Bhagavatam, soft Draupadi comes here. But in Mahabharatam, she is angry Draupadi. Now Krishna has to help her. That is when he was not physically present when she was humiliated. In the Sabha Mantapam, he was not there. Krishna was fighting people who had attacked Dwaraka. So he was in Gujarat, in an island. In those days itself, people used to buy island. So this island was away from the coast of Gujarat. So Krishna was there. She was in Hastinapura, close to Haryana, Delhi, Uttar Pradesh, close to 1,800 kilometers away, distances apart. Sabha beech Krishna Krishna Draupadi Pukari. She cried, my dear friend, Dwaraka Nilaya Achyuta Govinda Pundarika Akshara Kshamam Sharanagatam. I have 5 useless husbands. They won't come and help. And after knowing that these are absolutely useless, she went and sought the help of Bhishmacharya. She said, Bhishma, you're a very well-read person, you're an overlived person, you're the double door of artists. So, please help me. That is when Bhishma should have helped. If Bhishma had helped, things would have been different. But Bhishma made a small mistake there. He said, see, as per Article 54F and clause number 62B, he cited some, when she's crying for help. Somebody is being troubled. She's being stripped. That too during when she is menstruating, she's not even given that consideration. How tough that scenario was. This man is saying Article 54 here, 54. Great Bhakta of the Lord. Bhishmacharya is one of the great Bhaktas of the Lord. He used to do Shalagrama Tiruvaradhanam every day. He used to love Krishna. There is no doubt Bhishmacharya, Jnaninaha Alpi Bhavati. We see all of that. Krishna tells Yudhishthira, if Bhishmacharya parts, if the Jivatma leaves his body, Jnaninaha Alpi Bhavanti, there will be scarcity for intellectuals. Great person. But one mistake he made during Draupadi Samrakshana. So Krishna made a note of it. He said, okay, I'll take care of it. That is why one after the other, the arrow was shot by Arjuna and he fell on ground. But he didn't die because he had an Ichha Mrityu Varam. He will die only if he wants. Thank God we don't have that Varam. Federal governments will go bankrupt paying pension. So, Bhishmacharya fell on the ground. With all the piercings that would have happened, just because he has done Tiruvaradhanam, Aradhanam, Puja to the Lord, it doesn't mean blood will not come out of his body. Blood doesn't know about whether he knows Sahasranamam or not. So, blood started coming out. Why did it? Then his body became very thin. You know, here I don't know how many of you do it. It's mango season in India. You get such wonderful fruits here. Mango alone, I don't want to try. I tried one in San Jose. I put that mango into my nose. Smell almost. They said it is mango. It has to have some pradhana praditantras. So, raw mango, kacha mango. Generally, there is a way of making that pickle. See, from today onwards, please take notes. I will give a few recipes. Like Venkatesh Bhatt, Shanta Party, Dina's Kitchen, Yogambal Sundar, Hebbar, Hema Subramanian. All of you know that. Very important to get more. Because the way Venkatesh Bhatt puts oil in the beauty is he will not eat. So, while making mango pickles, there is one thing. You have to slice them and dry them under sun. You know what is that called? Yenna manga. So the pulpy nature of that mango will be reduced because the water content gets evaporated. So was Bhishma. All the blood had come out. Why did Krishna do this? Because you did not get that knowledge of protecting, that spirit of protecting a lady who sought your help. Because even if you were the son of Ganga, you were a Gangeya, you were still living on the food that was provided to you by Duryodhana. So when your employer does not have good intent, a small part of the dosham comes to you as well. That is why at that point in time, you did not have the spirit of protecting her. So if you have to sing praises of me, Bhishma, Krishna tells, I will not accept it from the Sthula Sharira that you possess now. You should be drained of every drop of blood that Duryodhana has given. That livelihood should not sustain him. After he was parched and left dry, that is when Krishna receives Sahasranamam. So this Vishnu Sahasranamam is a pure sattvic product. Pure sattvic. What is the greatness of Sahasranamam? This is where Parashara Bhatta spoke about his commentary. What is his commentary's name? Very good. Bhagavad Guna Darpanam. Please, my humble request, whenever I go, I request people. Who am I? I can only request. Carry one notebook, carry one pen. Have this habit of writing. We all feel, why should I listen? It is recorded. All our acharyas lived their entire life remembering. We should never, if we are a Bharatiya at heart, you can be an American citizen, be loyal to this country. It's a beautiful country. It has given us a livelihood. I'm not going against that. But to be associated with your culture, the basic thing of Sanatana Dharma is to remember and write it down. If our acharyas didn't remember and write it down, I wouldn't be speaking about any of these scriptures today. Writing is a beautiful habit. If you take notes, you'll be engaged continuously. You don't have to write down whatever I say. I'll talk relevant and irrelevant stuff. So whatever point you feel is good, write it down, take one photo and send it on WhatsApp to your children. They will appreciate that my parents are writing it down. They will read. Knowledge can be passed only through a collective effort. It is not one person's responsibility. You have to write. And of course, there are other benefits. How many of you are engineers here? My deepest condolences. Now, see, in engineering, I don't know about the course structure here. While I used to study, we used to have semester patterns. So we used to have physics 1, maths 1, chemistry 1, thermodynamics, all this in the first semester. After giving all those tutorials and exam, next semester we will go and you can manage to forget what you have studied in the first semester. That is the beauty of engineering. You don't have to carry that entire knowledge conglomerate till the end. One semester you keep forgetting. But see, in Vedadhyayana, they do 9 years of Salakshana Dhanam, Yajurveda. You cannot forget what you have studied from day 1 of the first year till the last day of the 9th year. You have to remember. That is Vedadhyayana. You have to keep remembering. But we are not doing Vedadhyayana here. At least let us write it down. So here, there are 6 great qualities, 6 unique features of, if you want to even note it down in your mobile, or I'll give you another suggestion. Please feel free to audio record the lecture. I have no problem. You can audio record the lecture and you can pass it on to others. There's no copyright issue, don't worry. You can pass it on to others. But don't tell somebody else to record tomorrow's lecture and don't not come tomorrow. So you are free to record. 6 qualities of Vishnu Sahasranamam. I will tell once, then I will go through every quality. You have to remember. Make it a point. Now, generally people come and tell, sir, I don't know, so many things I listen to. Beautiful things. Somehow I'm not able to remember. Because we have not made a resolve to remember. We keep telling ourselves, we'll forget, we'll forget, we'll forget. Age has nothing to do with remembering. Do not cite age as a reason. I'll tell you, in Bombay, I used to live in a sabha called Deshika Sabha. I used to be working in a corporate debt. And one person who was adept in the Tamil Pasurams called the Nalayira Divya Prabandham used to religiously come and teach Sishyas. There were close to about 40-50 students, all above the age of 60. So they all used to have the book. Every day he used to teach 10 Pasurams. They have to go home, practice and come. And Tamil Pasurams, not just 2 lines. You will have in Nammalvar Thiruvaimozhi, you will have 2-line Pasuram. You will have 4-line, 8-line, 10-line. Tirunedantandagam is big. Tiruvilukkuchirukkai is too big. Varying degrees, you will have various meters of Tamil poetry. People used to come. One lady, she used to come 20 kilometers driving from Juhu till Matuga. Anybody from Mumbai here? Amchi, Mumbai? You all know. So from Juhu, she used to come to Matuga every day, like others. She used to read. By the end of that 4-year tenure, where the 4,000 Pasurams was taught, she had memorized the 4,000 Pasurams. Memorized. So much so that we, while reciting, used to ask that, Mommy, where does this Pasuram come? She used to say, first decade, 7th Thiruvaimozhi, 2nd Pasuram. She used to say. She was 73. Age has nothing to do. Remember, Mahabharata Saratva, first I'll list down the 6 greatness of Vishnu Sahasranamam. Then I will go one quality after the other. Mahabharata Saratvat Rishibhif Pariganataha Vedacharya Samaharat Bhishmotkrishtamatattvataha Parigrahadishayataha Gitaataikarthakaschanaha. 6 qualities. First, Mahabharata Saratva. What is Vishnu Sahasranam? The essence of Mahabharata. Mahabharata is how many shlokas? 1,25,000 shlokas. Sapada Lakshan Grantham. 18 parvas with an appendix portion called as Harivamsham. Together 1,25,000 shlokas, 2.5 times the size of Iliad and Odyssey put together. 1,25,000 shlokas. See the Grantham. And there is commentary to it by a great Acharya called Nilakantha. The commentary is called Bhavadhipam. Beautiful. Bhavadhipam is beautiful. He was, as far as I remember, he was from Maharashtra. So great Acharya. That big a Grantham, that entire Grantham, the quintessence of Mahabharatam is Vishnu Sahasranam. So this is easy. 1,000 names. 22 minutes it will take. If you start without looking at the book, without your concentration going this way, that is the problem. Because if the concentration goes this way, that way, then we may end up repeating a few namas again and again. 5 times Govinda nama comes. Govindo, Govidambati, Mahavaraho, Govinda, Sushena, Kanakangadi. 5 times Govinda nama comes. There are many repetitions in Sahasranamam. So you just go this way, you will miss it. Sridhar, Shrisa, Srinivasa, Srini, Shri Vibhavana, Sridhara, Shrikara, Shreya, Shrima, Lokatraya, Shreya. Again, you will go back to the 6th verse. So 22 minutes if you follow the pattern. It is better than Mahabharata. 1,25,000 verses. How is this the essence of Mahabharata? The commentator states. I will read out a few Sanskritam lines from the commentary because you should listen to Parashara Bhatta's commentary. He was a great Acharya. Mahabharatoৎkarsha samarthana purvakam Mahabharata sarakatva kathanam Mahabharatam hi parigraha visesha vasishta viplava vachana sauštavadhyakatvad iti prabalyat Puraneshu tavat vayu prayukta shaivayoho matimatthanamadidya yenado shrutisagarat jagathitaya janitaha Mahabharata chandrama. He says, Vayu prokta shaivayoho. Vayu prokta shaivayoho means Vayu Purana and Shiva Purana also gives a testimonial to Vishnu Sahasranamam and Mahabharata. It says, Mati Manthanam Avidya Yenado Shruti Sagarat. So Vyasacharya kept his intellect as the churning rod. Mati Manthanam Avidya Yenado Shruti Sagarat. He churned the ocean of Vedic knowledge, keeping his intellect as the churning rod. Jagat Hitaya Janitaha, for the welfare of the world, arose from those waters of Vedic knowledge a moon. Moon, because from Kshiravdi also moon rose, right? So moon rose. Which is that moon? Mahabharata Chandrama. So the moon is called Mahabharata. So the ocean is of Vedic knowledge. Vyasa's intellect is the churning rod. The moon that came out is Mahabharata. See, often people confuse. They will ask this question, why are you called Hindus? Why are you called Hindus? Then we will have no answer. Then you say, no sir, we are from Sanatana Dharma. Hindu came much later. Where did that Hindu word come from? They will ask. Then we will suddenly go, we'll say, one interpretation we will give is, people from the West, beyond Pakistan, in Afghanistan, Iran, Iraq, those regions, when they had to get into this Desha, they found that this land is the land that worships rivers. One of the rivers that was accessible to them, huge river accessible to them, was Sindhu. Sindhu is called Indus. It has so many tributaries falling within. Ravi, Bias, Jhelum. Jhelum is all Chandrabhaga. Then we have Lambodari, one river. That Lambodari river is today called Lidar in Kashmir. So all these rivers come together and they form this river called Sindhu. Sindhu technically in Sanskrit means ocean. That's why salt which comes from Sindhu is called Saindhavam. But why is this river called Sindhu? Because I'll give you an example. There are 5 great lakes in the US, right? If you go to those lakes, honestly, you won't even realize it is a lake. It is like ocean. So this river was so wide that people thought this is not a river, this is ocean. So the ocean's name Sindhu came to the river Sindhu. So the Sindhu people thought Sa is not there in the languages from Persian beginning there. So Sa became Ha. Sapta Sindhu became Hapta Hindu. Then the word Hindu came into practice. So it was largely an area beyond the Sindhu river. So you have to mark that in the map. The other beautiful interpretation that comes from Sanskritam is there were travelers from China. Chinam Shukaihi. Kalidasa talks about the silk of China in Kumara Sambhavam. Chinam Shukaihi, he says. Silk of China. So in China, you had travelers like Hunzang, Fahian. They all came to Bharatadesham, but they were not allowed to come to Bharatadesham directly. The king did not allow in China. So he took another place through Karakoram range and entered through Sindhu Desham and came during Harsha's rule. There he tells, we have those Chinese accounts now translated into English as well. You check. He says these people, even on streets while they are walking, they are debating only philosophy. The Fahian tells, people in Bharatadesham, while they were walking on the streets, they used to be debating whether it is Dharma Jnanam or Dharma Bhuta Jnanam. No. I will conform only to Dharma Bhuta Jnanam. Even while buying vegetables, going to Costco, they used to debate about Vedanta. So this Chinese traveler says, these people below the Himalayan ranges are blessed by the moon. Moon in Sanskritam, common word is Indu. Whereas in China Bhasha, that is not pronounced with such great emphasis. So it is called Intu. That is why when you go to Shanghai and a lot of places, they say Intu, which means Hindu. So this Intu signifies moon. Moon signifies Buddhi. Buddhi Karaka. If the moon's position is not great in a Jatakam, there will be a few issues with mental depression. All of this in a Jatakam if the moon's position is not good. So that is why they used to say in those days, during the days of Amavasya and Purnima, people with little problems on mental conditions used to get flared up. Moon's position matters. That's why the Western world, lunar, became lunatic. You've heard of this word, right? It has a luna shabdam there. That is why this Indu, which is a Sanskritam word, Indu, came into position. Mahabharata Chandrama. Why is he akin to Chandrama? Because moon is Buddhikaraka. That is why the Lord says, Chandrama manaso jataha. My manas has become Chandra. That is why when the Jivatma departs from the body, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad says that you will have the last stage, the moon, the Jivatma will go and settle, the manas of the Jivatma will go and settle itself in the moon. Mahabharata Chandrama. So, this Purana says that Mahabharata is the essence. Now, after having discussed this, I will take you to how it is the essence. There is a beautiful place. Let's go back to Draupadi. I have to tell the first quality. I told there are 6 qualities, greatness of Vishnu Sahasranamam. First qualities, it is the essence of Mahabharata. What is the essence of Mahabharata? Essence of Mahabharata is, however dire the situation is, however hopeless the situation is, the Lord is always eternally there to protect his devotee. This message is for us. Whatever scenario we face in our life, trust, he is there. You know, in fact, our acharyas say, the Lord doesn't protect his devotees. Underline this name. The Lord doesn't protect his devotees. Bhagavan doesn't protect his devotees. Who protects? The confidence that we have in him protects us. Rakshishyati Vishwasana. The Lord doesn't protect. The Vishwasam that we have that He will protect me, protects us. See, look at the concept. Now, Draupadi, in the Sabha Madhya, she was humiliated. First of all, this was a big scam. I'll tell you how this is a scam. They were given a piece of waste land in the property partition by Dhritarashtra. It was called Khandava Prastha. Khandava Prastha is the current day Delhi. That was called Khandava Prastha. Then Arjuna goes with Krishna and says, what do we do with this land? Krishna says, first we need to get rid of these dry trees, leaves. Then only we can make some space and create a city. That is called Khandava Vana Dahanam. Many snakes were killed. One great snake called Takshaka's son was killed. So that is why Takshaka says, I will avenge the death of my son. That is why he later comes when Karna shoots the Nagastra. Shakuni, somehow he spotted this Takshaka's mood. Somebody reported to him. So Shakuni made a note of it. He took the contact details of Takshaka. Exactly he called when Karna had to fight. Now, after this Khandava Vanadahanam, a palace had to be constructed. So Indra helped. Indra's biological son was Arjuna. So he called the architects of Devaloka, Maya, Vishwakarma, and said, you please construct a city. They constructed. Indra was a great politician. He said, if I have to inaugurate the city, it should be in my name. So Khandava Prastha became Indra Prastha. Now, during that Indraprastha regime, for the housewarming ceremony, a Rajasuya Yajnam had to be performed. So, either the neighboring kings had to be won over by force or through love, through alliances. Most of them, they liked Yudhishthira. A few of them did not like Jarasandha. Bhima killed him. And then the princes of Kuruvamsham were invited. Dhritarashtraputra were invited. That is when Dhritarashtra doesn't come, he sends Duryodhana, Dushyasana, Karna and Shakuni. So as they enter the palace, Duryodhana feels extremely jealous. I thought they will never be able to find the house. Look at their palace and look at our house. Old model. Look at their model. New, natural sunlight is coming. Everything is so good. They manage their spaces so well. Each space fills into each other. They gave all architect lines. Beautiful. What interiors Draupadi has selected. Everything they said. As Duryodhana was walking, he mistook the floor to be, the pond to be a floor and he fell. You have seen this? Then Rupa Ganguly used to laugh. You have seen those days? My God. Mahabharat Katha Katha hai Purusharth ki hai. Then Rupa Ganguly will laugh. Correct? In our Tamil days, Anjali Devi used to laugh. Then Ashokan used to get angry. Ashokan was Duryodhana. But the beauty is when you look into the original Mahabharata, when Duryodhana jumped into the waters, he fell. Draupadi was not there at all. Sir, are you sure? Yes. Are you sure? I don't know whether I'm sure. Vyasa is sure. He doesn't say that Draupadi was there. He doesn't report. He says, as Duryodhana fell, the Sairandrikastris laughed. They gave her the see. That's a natural reaction in somebody. Even my grandmother, she used to fall as a grandson. Instead of picking her up, I used to say, party. For this, with my party, to take vendetta on me. So, now Duryodhana goes with his drenched clothes to the Sabha Mandapam of his father. Father asked, you went to the Grah Pravesham. Don't even ask me about what humiliation I've been meeting. Father asked, what? I fell into the water. Go dry your clothes. Put it into the US dryer. It will come like a plant. So he said, now Duryodhana had to coax his father. So he says, Father, it is not about me what jumping into the waters. People laugh. Duryodhana, don't keep telling the same thing. It's okay. Drupadanandini laughed. Drupadanandini means Drupada's daughter. She laughed. He knew how to manipulate his father's mind. Because his father always had an inferiority complex. So he played into that, and immediately Dhritarashtra asked, really, Draupadi laughed? Really? And Shakuni said, yes, even I saw. This is that scam. So he used this as an opportunity to invite them to the Dyuta Krida. Draupadi, she said, I am a bit weak today. I will stay in my Antapuram. You all go and play. Krishna was not there. Ideally, Duryodhana should have sat and played on the other side. Shakuni was not allowed to play. But you know what Duryodhana said? See, I am having little bit carpal tunnel syndrome. Always and typing, so it is pain. Let my uncle play. So then Shakuni played. And we also hear one thing that those dice was made from the bone of his father. In my limited knowledge, I have not come across that. The bone of the father will listen only when Shakuni looks at it. Like VFX, it will turn. All this is not there. Shakuni was very good. Yudhishthira was an amateur. He had not even cleared level 1. But he somehow said, okay, I will also play. Kshatriya Dharma, rule number 1.1 states if a Kshatriya is invited, he has to play. He played, he lost everything. Finally, after having lost his brothers, he said, he pawns his wife. Then Draupadi is also lost. She's Pratikramin. He sends Duryodhana, dispatches his servant called Pratikramin and says, you fetch Draupadi to the Sabha. He goes and stands outside the inner apartment of Draupadi and says, Mate, you have been called to the Sabha. She says, then she understands the situation. And then she asks, did Yudhishthira pawn me, lose me, and then he pawned himself? Or he pawned himself, lost, and then pawned me? Pratikramin said, wait, madam, I'll go ask him. So he went. And then Duryodhana said, that lady is my slave. She has no doubt, audacity to ask. What audacity she has to ask this question? Dushasana, you go. Dushasana went. She said, don't come like this. You are my brother-in-law, like my son. He didn't listen. He pulled her by the hair. Blood was strewn all across the floor. She was brought to the Sabha Mandapa. Sabhamanai Panchali. That is where our Surya Putra Karan. Surya Putra Karan jo hai na, Jogat ji. Ye bolte hain. How does it matter if Draupadi is with clothes or without clothes? Our Karna hero. That Karna says this. So, as per Vyasa Bharatam, Karna is not positioned as a hero at all. We are made in a hero. My grandmother will cry. He richly deserved what he had. So then that is where she thinks of the Lord. Vatsalya Bhaya Pradana Samayat Artati Nirvapanat Audaryat Adhasoshana Taganita Shreya Pada Prapanat Sevya Shripati Reka Yeva Jagatam Yeteja Shatsakshinaha Prahladascha Vibhishanascha Karirat Panchalahalya Dhruvaha. She thinks of Krishna. Actually, she doesn't think of Krishna. First, she thinks of Vasishtha Vakyam, says Vyasa. Vasishtha had told, if you're in a troubled situation, think of Hari. Smartavyo Bhagavan Hari. She remembers Vyasa Vakyam, Vasishtha Vakyam. Now she thinks of Krishna, and that point in time, perennially she gets close. That we know. Later, the Yuddham happens. All the sons of Dhritarashtra are killed. Then Bhishma attains Swargam, Moksham, and then these kings are made, Yudhishthira is made the king, everything is good. Now Krishna has his final moments in Dwaraka. His close friend Uddhava comes. Uddhava is his close friend. Uddhava is Gishpati Putra. He is Brihaspati's son. Uddhava comes. Uddhava had a very good long association of friendship with Krishna from Mathura days. So they tell elderly people used to state, if the husband and wife stay together for many years together, which is a rarity. So for 40-50 years, if the husband and wife live together, they will start looking like each other. I don't know how, now you may say this is a different ATGC, sir, this is a different DNA, that is a different DNA, that is true. But they'll start looking like each other. Their likes and dislikes will also should start matching or should start matching. So only both of them come to the Upanyasam, it will be easy. Right? If you have left any of your other counterparts, fill them. So, see, in fact, Sita tells an Ayodhya Kandam of Ramayana, when Rama refuses to take Sita to the forest, she tells Rama, I've heard my mother say, she was married at the age of 6, till then she has heard so much. My mother says that if whoever is the better half in this Janma will continue to be the better half for 7 more Janmas. There is a Shastra Vakyam, she says, in one lecture I said, half my audience went there. We don't know whether it's the first or the second. So, here, Uddhava started looking like Krishna. It was very much, he was respected. The respect accorded to Uddhava was as much as what it was given to Krishna. Uddhava is called by Krishna, and Uddhava asks Krishna, is this avatara sankalpam purnam? Have you accomplished what you wanted? That is when the shlokam comes. Rinam pravriddhamiva me hridaya. Hey, Uddhava, I seem to have accomplished most, but I carry the burden of debt with me. Rinam, debt. What debt do you carry, Krishna? Asked Uddhava. In Sat Sabha Madhyam, when Panchali cried out Govinda Pundarikaksha Rakshamam Sharanagatam, how much confidence she had on me. She left her vastram and she said, he will come and protect Govinda. For that confidence that she had on me, I feel I have still not reciprocated her to the fullest. Rinam pravriddham, I carry that loan of not having reciprocated to that bhakti of Draupadi, says Krishna. The one, now remember this, the one who feels he is indebted to his devotees in Sanskritam is called Analaha. So this is the 716th Nama. Vasureta Vasupradaha Vasuprado Vasudevo Vasur Vasumanaha Vihi. Open your mouth. Vasureta Vasupradaha Vasuprado Vasudevo Sadgatihi Satkriti Satta Sadbhuti Satparayanaha Shuraseno Yadusreshta Sannivasa Suyamunaha Bhuta Vaso Vasudeva Sarva Sunilayo Nalaha Analaha. That Analaha is the name, meaning of this. The one who is indebted to his devotees, to that person you have the name Anala. So if you have got grandchildren to be born, you are searching for good names, use this name. It's a very rare name, Anal. Anala. Anala. Next. First quality is over of Vishnu Sahasranamam. Mahabharata Saratva. Essence of Mahabharatam is the devotees will always believe in God. What is the example to that? Draupadi believed in Krishna. What is the meaning of that? Krishna feels indebted to Draupadi. What is the Nama? 716th Nama. What is the Nama? Analaha. Got this? Now second. Rishi Bhiv Pariganataha. How many of your names occur in the Sahasranamam? You have to put a control F in search now. Find them. How many of your names come, Swami? Very good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What the rest? My name is. What the rest of us do know? Only they have qualified. 8 people have qualified now. What do we do? Our names don't come. Remember, please remember this. Sahasranamam doesn't state that these are the only 1,000 namas and the rest of the namas are for 0. No. There are thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands names of the Lord. The rishis chose the top 1,000. For example, iTunes has top 10 songs of the week. You go and check in your Apple TV. You will get that iTunes. 1 week, so I don't know whether that song became popular here. Mage hite, manige mage hite. Popular that song. So each week, one song will keep coming, right? That was popular for 1 week. Each week, one song will come. So similarly, there are 1,000 names of the Lord. Many. If Vedam says Sahasra Shirusha Purushaha, 1,000 heads, you should not put 1,000 heads. Oh, he's got 1,000 heads. How? There'll be 1 crore, 1,000 esophagus. You should not think. Which means he's present everywhere. 1,000 names of the Lord suggest that this is a representative of the other names. So all our names are good. But why is this special? Because the rishis have chosen this. See, you go interview the rishis, like how you interview the kings, you go interview the rishis. In those days, they went and interviewed the rishis. Gargacharya, they went and interviewed. Who interviewed Arnab? Arnab Goswami went and interviewed Gargacharya, and the beauty is he let Gargacharya speak. Nation wants to know Garga. What is the name that you like? Gargacharya said Krishna. Because he was the one who named Krishna, right? So he loved Krishna. It doesn't mean he doesn't like the other names. He said, if somebody says, you ask the question and answer it. So he asked, what do you like? Krishna Nama. So like that, all these rishis were interviewed, and those rishis, Harita Maharshi, Bharadwaja Maharshi, Kashyapa Maharshi, Markandeya Maharshi, Katsyayana Maharshi, Katyayana Maharshi, all these rishis were interviewed, and as those names were given, it was floating in various newspaper articles. Bhishmacharya, the one who has studied so much, used to read those articles and brought all those namas together. He rearranged them and gave those namas. So Bhishma did not discover or invent these names. No. Those names were in the vogue. They were existing. Bhishma compiled. How do we know that these names were liked by the rishis? It comes in Sahasranamam. Rishibhip parigitani tani vakshyami bhutaye. Rishibhip parigitani. Rishis love these namas. So what is the second quality, greatness of Sahasranamam? Rishibhip pariganataha. Rishis love the nama. How do we know? There is one place. Let's go to the times of Rama. Too much of Krishna. Poor Rama. See, Rama was to be given the name. He was born many years after the girl child was born. They had a daughter called Shanta. Shanta was given in adoption to another king. She married Rishishringa. They were settled. They know they beti ho gaya, abhi beta chahiye. So they wanted a son. They performed Ashwamedham in Putrakameshti. The boy was born. Vasishtha was called, and Vasishtha was asked, sir, please give a child his name. So in those days, the rishis could see and foresee. They will know what qualities this child will imbibe. That is why they used to do the Jatakam analysis. Jatakam was not looked every day. Few occasions it used to be looked. The moment the child was born, then later if the child has to get married, the girl or the boy, and then Karma Dasha, if they have to perform a Yagam, and then death. This is all to get an indication how the person. Today, every day Jatakam is taken. Kumbharashi, Meena Rashi, this Rashi, that Rashi. Take yellow color shirt, blue color shirt. Don't go to a disco. So, Today we have used Jatakam, one of the beautiful Shastram, for all mundane reasons. Now, looking at the Jatakam of Rama, they come up with conclusions. Why? Vakpata Induna Saha. You know that Shlokam in Ramayanam. Tatascha Dvadashe Mase Chaitre Navamiketito Nakshatre Aditidaivatya Swocha Samstheshu Panchasu Graheshu Karkate Lagne. He had 5 grahas in the exalted state. Panchauche Lokanayakaha. The Jatakam has 5 grahas in the exalted state. They will become a world leader. Pancha Uche Lokanayakaha. And in the 12th place, you had Vakpata, Induna Saha. You had Brihaspati and Indu, moon. So in such Jatakams, they will look for Kemadruma Yogam. If Kemadruma Yogam exists, then there are chances for the husband and wife to get separated. So Rama just escaped the Kemadruma Yogam, though its effect was felt on him. That is why he was always separated from Sita during the exile, later during her pregnancy, and so on. So all this is mentioned. Now a name has to be given. That is when Vasishtha tells, Ramo Ramayatam Sreshtha. Just looking at him gives me so much of positive vibrations. He looks so smart. The one who is handsome, even in the first look. See, first time you should see and be impressed. Many of us may not be like that. Over 3-4 years, we may like that person. Dhanush says, whether Aishwarya told this. Ramo Ramayatam Sreshtha. Ramo Ramayatam Sreshtha. First look, he looks beautiful. That is why Tyagaraja says, Lavanya Ramara Narajudare Pati Lavanya. Extremely handsome. Rama's beauty is much different from Krishna's. Krishna's is different. Rama was first of all a gym body. He'll be very particular. He'll take only quinoa. He'll take those big G's. Then there has to be a broccoli. There has to be a bok choy. And then he'll just put some olive oil. It should not be heated. He makes sure he goes on keto on certain things. All this he will do. Whereas Krishna is like, whatever he will do. So that is Krishna's beauty. He was bulky, very handsome. So how can you be bulky and handsome if you see Krishna? So Rama was very thin hip, broad shoulders. That smile. So that was Rama's beauty. Ramo Ramayatam Sreshtha Gunabhiramam Ramam Cha. Through his qualities also. See, 2 things. 1, the external look. 2nd is demeanor. Certain people extremely handsome. If you move with them, you realize you can't stay with that person for a second. They can be Hrithik Roshan or anybody. I can't stay with this man. Certain people are okay to look at. Extremely good people. My party used to say, Tata, Rama was also good in his qualities, looks and qualities. Shyamo yuva lohitakshaha matanga nabiva varshaha matta matanga gaminam. When Rama used to walk, people used to look at how beautifully he walks. Tol kanda, tole kanda. They used to keep looking at his arms. Tal kanda, tale kanda. The way he used to walk. Fracture eye. Shyamo yuva lovitakshaha mattamatangaminam. In certain houses, if I ask, generally when I go to my house, I'll ask, Mama, can you go to the way he walks, the way he talks, Purva Bhashi, Madhura Bhashi. When Rama used to talk, The way he used to talk, people used to think, will he talk for more? The way Rama used to talk, Purva Bhashi, Madhura Bhashi, Sudha, Madhurya Bhashana Sudha. Every word. You cannot find a better word for a replacement. Sentence construct. What has to come at the start, what has to come at the end. Where the articulation has to be. You should know how to articulate. All this is relevant even to your job. How you present, how you give that 5 minutes is given to you. How will you attract your people? How effectively you use your hands, Purva Bhashi, Madhura Bhashi. How should you train your tone, your voice? If you're shrill, how do you get that to the right pitch? Everything, pitching, tone, tenor, articulation, body language, where to go down, where to rise up, where to flare your eyes, and then bring it down. Rama knew. So Vasishtha thought, they have given me the opportunity to name the child. There is no better noun that can put all these qualities together as I see in this child than Rama. That is why in Balakandam, Rama goes on an internship, industrial training with Vishwamitra, 6 days, rival school. So generally, if it is trained by Vasishtha, Vishwamitra wanted to deny Rama of his prowess. He wanted to give a certificate, unfit. But looking at Rama, he thought, this man is the perfect disciple to Vasishtha. But he could not agree to Vasishtha. How will he agree? Leader of opposition means. So how will he agree? So next morning when Rama had to wake up, he started singing. Kausalya, Kausalya, Praja, Supraja, Praja, Supraja, Praja, Supraja. Rama said Supraja. He meant good child, Supraja, nice child. Kausalya, Supraja, Kausalya, because next word he did not want to say Rama, because that name has been given by Vasishtha. How will he say? Anirudh, Mari, beep. Kausalya, Supraja, beep. Purva, Sandhya, Pravadade. He wanted to do that. But how will he use? Then next day people will report. Vishwamitra calls him by the name. Obama Kausalya, Supraja, Rama. Vishwamitra said, I have never failed a single time against Vasishtha, but now I feel there can be no better name than Rama. What a beautiful name. Paradbhi Paramaspashtaha Ramo Viramo Virajo Margo Neyo Nayo Nayaha. 396th Nama Ramaha. Who gave this Nama? Vasishtha. Who was Vasishtha? Maharishi. What is the greatness of Sahasranamam? These names were accepted by rishis. Second quality, rishi with pariganataha. Greatness of Ramanama. Third, first is Mahabharata Saratvat. Second is rishi with pariganataha. Third, Vedacharya Samahara. Vedacharya Samahara. This is Moona's quality. Fourth, I will take the fourth quality now. Third quality I will take tomorrow. Fourth quality today. Fourth is Bhishmotkrishtha Matatvataha. Bhishmotkrishtha Matatvataha means that work which has been agreed upon by great people like Bhishma. Bhishma has given assent to it. He said, good. We have seen first and second, third tomorrow, fourth now. Second, what did I say? Ramaha. Correct. Now, I want to tell one point here. We are not now today doing this process of seeing and foreseeing the child's future and then giving the name. What name we like, we give. Either the child could become your Ram or Yen Ram. Ramaha, Viramaha, Virajaha, we don't know. But we give out of sheer trust that this child will do well. This is second. So every name is important. Remember this, your child's nama, even if that child's nama doesn't fall into Sahasranamam, every proper noun of the world represents the Lord. Remember this. You don't get extra brownie points if your name comes in Sahasranamam. I'll give you one personal experience. I went to the house of one devotee in Mumbai. They were near Pedda Road. I went to their house. The lady, the grandmother, introduced her grandsons. She said, this is one, this is the other one. I asked their names. She said the grandson was called Kim. Kim. In Sanskritam, Kim is a question. Will you have in English somebody, what's his name? Question. Or there. What is his name? There. I didn't tell anything to that lady. I said, okay, God bless you, Kim. The Lord now commands you. Next day was my lecture in Chennai, Besant Nagar. So I had to revise Vishnu Sahasranamam. See how many ever times I give lectures, you may think we all become scholarly. No, every day is a revelation to us. I took Sahasranamam. As I opened the book, the page opened. Eko Neka Savaka. There is one name of the Lord called Kim. How ignorant I was that I ridiculed that little boy's name in my mind. God gives you an answer the next day. Kimaya Namaha. What a great name, Kim. Now, Bhish, I don't know whether they named the boy after Sahasranamam, but still, let's see whether you know that the vaccine which is being put to you is an attenuated one where the culture has been done on a petri dish and then it has been, whether you know it or not, the vaccine will still work. Will the vaccine say, do you know about recombinant DNA technology and the thing? Then only I will work. It doesn't say. Whether you know the meaning or not, the vaccine will work. Whether you know the meaning of the namas that you recite of Vishnu Sahasranamam or not, Sahasranamam will give you the benefit. Fourth quality, Bhishmot Krishna Madatvataha, Bhishmepihi Prayatitamaha, Tathahi Rajadharmeshu Dharmarajaya Bhavata Vyasena Shtotumichami Chet Minityam Akhilena Naradipa Prehi Bhishmam Mahabaho Vruddham Kurupitamaham Sate Varsha Sahasreshu Sanyatyatmanasi Sthitat Cheta Bhagirati Putraha Sarvajnaha Sarvatattvavidu Sakshadarshayo Devana Sarvacha Purogamana Ityado Yasya Brahmarshaya Punya Nitya Atma Sambhada Yasya Navidam Hinjidhanyanam Yeshu Vidyade Sade Vikshi Dharmadyo. Okay. What Parashara Bhatta tells us, when Bhishma was lying on his deathbed, which was the bed of arrows, Yudhishthira goes to Krishna. He tells Krishna, I want to understand some nuances of Rajya Dharma, how to administer. And then Moksha Dharma, how to live, art of living and art of leaving, both. How to live and live, you have to tell. That is when Krishna tells, see, I can tell you. But if there is one person who's adept enough who can give you the quintessential knowledge of all that you've sought for, it is Bhishma. Jnaninaha alpi bhavati, go run to that person and ask. Yudhishthira went. See, when the grandmother is living, the child will not ask for any recipe. He or she will only eat. When she is in that ICCU, pipes everywhere, party. Bhishmacharya has been living for years together. He didn't use him at all for understanding. Now that man is suffering on that bed of arrows. Yudhishthira goes and asks, Tata, please tell me what is Rajya Dharma, Moksha Dharma. Now, Bhishma, being the benevolent person he was, he advised. Now later, Bhishma, see why I'm telling you this is what is the greatness of this point is. Composition by a composer alone doesn't have to have the scholastic greatness in it. The greatness should be with the composer too. I'll tell you an example. In the last 50, 70 years, there are many composers. I don't know how many of you follow Shastriya Sangeetam. There are many composers. Even I have composed 2 kritis. I have also composed. People say good composition, that's all that will stop. I tell you why. Because the person who has composed should have that mantra shakti. With sheer mantra ucharana, I should have gained the punyam to transfer it to the composition. Only then, if a person who's devoted to the language and the civilization, if that person takes up the composition and recites that composition, that will give him phalam. You're able to understand? I have given a composition, you all may by heart, you won't get any phalam. Because I have no mantra shakti with me. People generally say, please bless us, please bless my child. I may say, okay, for the love that people shower on me, I'll say, okay, best wishes, may Alvas and Acharyas bless you. I have no shakti in me to bless. I'll tell you why. That is the truth. Because you have to have a lot of shraddha. You should be able to control your senses. With that, what Krishna talks about karma yogam and jnana yogam, you should be the quintessence of it. Then only what you say, nature will help fructify that. This person has said, so it should come. It should not become the top seater. I am worried if somebody falls at my feet and I bless, something happens to them. So I generally don't get into this mode at all because everybody wants to sit like this today. And slowly I'll drive an island. Next step is that. We are not in that run. See, we should understand, first we should be honest to ourselves. What we are, we should know. Whether we have that Shakti, do we have? If I close my eyes, I do Gayatri every day. Gayatri Sakshatkaram. What is Sakshatkaram in Ashtanga Yoga? When you keep meditating, you have to close your eyes. But Dhyanam in Sanatana Dharma doesn't mean close your eyes, you should close it entirely. Then like the Western world says, let there be light, said God. Then God, only light has to be there. You should close your eyes partially. See, if 6 o'clock is the sunrise, 5:55 the lotus would have half blossomed. Your eyes should be like that. Then you should focus both your eyes towards the tip of your nose. Then towards the nasagre, towards the end of your nose, you have to see the Dhyana Murti of whom you are meditating upon. One day I was telling this, one lady came and said, oh, do we have to meditate on our nose? Some of them may have it like Garuda, some like bell pepper. However, it is we can't help, we are not rekas to correct it. So, however, the noses, you have to meditate on that nose. And towards the end of that nose, the Dhyana Murti will appear. That is called Sakshatkaram. When that happens, even if there is a bomb blast next to it, you won't listen, you won't be able to hear. That is Dhyana. Not just closing your eyes, shh, keep quiet, you're very disturbing. That means you've not even gone to the first level of Dhyana. Then we are getting perturbed by the plate sound. That is not Dhyana at all. So why I am telling you this is only that mantra shakti. That is why we say recite shlokas of Shankara, Ramanuja, Desika. They were all mantra siddhas. They knew. That is why when they say something, it fructifies. Here, what is the speciality of Sahasranamam? Fourth quality, Bhishma Krishna Matatvata. Bhishma has said this. Who is Bhishma? The great devotee of the Lord. I tell you how great he is. One place, it comes beautifully in Mahabharatam. Everybody is settled. Krishna has gone to Dwaraka. He's playing with Rukmini, some dice. Okay. Pashyanti Ishu Shruti Shukarikaha Suri Vrindena Sadham. He's playing. That day Krishna starts shedding tears. Rukmini says, generally you make others shed tears. What has happened to you suddenly? Why are you shedding tears? You know what Krishna says? Sharatalpa Gato Bhishmaha. Now Bhishma is thinking of me and his Atma is about to depart. Rukmini says, why should you cry? I am losing one of the greatest devotees that I have had. Bhishma is parting. Sharatalpa Gato Bhishmaha. Bhishma is there. But what is the greatness of Bhishma? See, Krishna was related to Pandavas and the Kauravas. You know that? Krishna's sister was? Subhadra was married to Arjun. Who's Arjun? Action king. So he was married to Arjun. And so Arjun was the son-in-law of the house. So Krishna was duty bound to help Arjuna. Krishna's son was married to Duryodhana's daughter. You know that? Did Duryodhana tell you? Very good. So Krishna's son born through Jambavati called Shambha was married to Duryodhana's daughter. So they were sambandhis. In Tamil it is sambandhi. Anybody, any Astika, Bhagavatatama speaking Hindi here? Not ability to speak. How many of you mother tongue is? Nobody. So what I don't know, sambandhi is what they say in sambandhi in Hindi. What is the word in Hindi? Sambandhi, yeah? Okay. So Krishna and Duryodhana were sambandhis. So Krishna was duty bound to help Duryodhana as well. That is when you know one incident where Krishna was sleeping after in Gujarat, in Dwaraka, after Dokla, Khandvi, Chikla, Papra. After he woke up, he saw Arjuna. He asked, Arjun, tum idhar aaye ho? Arjuna, Arjun, tum idhar aaye ho? Duryodhana says, main pehle aaya tha. Krishna says, it's okay, but I have to help only the younger one first. So he said, one side is my entire army, the other side is me. Whom do you want, Arjun? Arjun said, I want only you. Duryodhana was extremely happy because the biggest army was with Krishna. He said, okay, let Arjuna take you. He is my brother after all. I will take the army. And he went home to Hastinapura showing the emoticon. Mama! Shakuni asked, wait, what have you achieved? Krishna has gone to that side, the entire army this side. Fool. If Krishna goes there, he will do anything. Is he going to fight? Yes. Now you go back and you ask your Sambhi that you should not use any weapon in the Yuddha. Duryodhana goes, Mama kehte tunne, kehte kehte man mudde, mudde uddatla, na isu prayava mana prada, kehte tunne Mama. You should not use any weapon. Krishna said, done. Arjuna had the shock of his life. Krishna, what have you done? On a Yuddha Bhumi, if you say you're not going to use any weapon, what are you there for? I'm a doctor, surgeon, surgery table. What have you done? No, I won't do the surgery. I just wanted to see what will you do, Krishna, when you're on the battlefield, but you refuse to use any of the weapons? Ask Arjuna. That is when Krishna tells Arjuna, who's your driver? Pankaj comes from Mirzapur. You give him 6 to 18 days of casual eat. Who will become my charioteer? I will become. Why? Because a charioteer doesn't have to use a weapon. I'll be the closest to you. I will guide you. Keep your mobile data on. I'll WhatsApp it. So Krishna's vow. Krishna vows, I shall not use a single weapon on Kurukshetra, came on the next day newspaper. They were all cloud 9. yes, Krishna is not going to use a weapon. Then Bhishma Acharya called all the TV channels. He gave a press meet. He called all language TV channels, Hotstar, Rajdeep Barka. He called the Tamil channels. Solungal, sir. Solungal. Ningal. Solungal. He understood they were all Tamil channels. All right. Bhishma says, I vow that I will make Krishna use the weapon. Next day, newspaper. On one side, Krishna says, I will not use weapon. Bhishma says, I will make Krishna use the weapon. We don't know who will win. Watch the news for 8 p.m. So while this was being said, initially when Arjuna said whether I should fight or not, all this, what should I do, Krishna? They are all O positive blood, even I am O positive blood, both of us blood, same blood. So how can I fight Krishna? Krishna said, you knew that both are O positive even yesterday. Suddenly, where did you get this jnana? Ahimsa paramo dharma. Then Krishna said, see, I will teach you, and he gave those 700 shlokas of Bhagavad Gita, and Arjuna started fighting. But still, Arjuna was not very serious. He used to put one astra, Bhishma used to catch. Arjuna thought, see, I've left all my job in Dwarka and I've come as a child. I volunteered to be, but these two people are playing like this. When will this get over? So Krishna got angry. Arjuna, if you are not ready to fight Bhishma, I will do. He jumped from his ratham. Tribhuvana kamanam tamadavarnam ravikara gauravambaram dadhane vapuralaka kulavrita nanabjam vijaya sakhe ratirastu mena vadya sapari sakhi vacho nishamya madhye Nijaparayor balayor atham niveshya sthitavati parasainika yurakshna Ritavati partha sakeradir mamastu Swanigamama pahayamat pratignyam Pritamadhikattumava pluto rakhastha Gritaratha charano bhyarachalud guru Haririvahantu mibham gatottariya. As Krishna jumped, his effervescent, dark, radiant, curly hair trusses jumped along him. It jumped with him, with eyes that turned red in its corners. Kadiyavagi pudai parandu vidirndu shevvari odi. He said, if you are not ready to vanquish this overlived old man in the battle, I will show him his place. Took the wheel from a broken chariot, swirled it in the air like chakram and ran. Arjuna said, peace, I will, Krishna. For my sake, you should not speak the untruth, because you have vowed that you shall not lift the weapon. For my sake, if you do, then people will say, as a friend, Arjuna was not able to fulfill the little pledge that his dear friend Krishna. On the other hand, Bhishma Acharya left all his weapons and said, Krishna, please kill me. I should not be killed by all these mundane people. I should be killed by the moksha tattva. Give me moksha. Ratirastu mena vadya. Haririva hantumibham gatottariya. Look at the words. Gata uttariya. When Krishna jumped, the uttariyam flew along. So that time media said, see, Krishna has used the weapon. He didn't use, he just lifted the weapon. So immediately everything, ANI news, this, that, they all started flying. Krishna has used, everybody messaged, Krishna has used the weapon, Krishna has used the weapon, Krishna has used the weapon. So it went against his pledge. What was his pledge? That I shall not use the Ayudham. Now, there is a nama called Chalaha. Eko Naika. First, for Sahasranamam, for recitation, especially in Sanskritam. Every language has its own style. Sanskritam, the person who's sitting in front of you, their back should be drenched. Your pronunciation should be that strong. Only last row people are safe. Eko naikasavakakim Loka bandhur lokanatho madhavo bhaktavatsalaha Suvarnavarno hemango varangas chandanangadi Viraha vishamashunyaha kritashir achalas chalaha Achalaha chalaha Achalas chalaha Chalaha is the name of the Lord. 752nd Nama. 752. You can check in your house. Chalaha. What does Chalaha mean? Here, Parashara Bhatta tells. The Dutyadhikaradau Anapatra Pishnutva Prayojakaya Gataveshvanaham Yutaya Manaha Chitta Samunatihi Asyastitihi Manihi Yasyaha Nastiti. The one who doesn't mind if the pledge that he has made is unfulfilled, but fulfills the pledge made by his devotees, is called Chalaha. So he wanted to fulfill Bhishma's promise. For that sake, he was ready to undergo the blame that he has not been able to fulfill his own pledge. So the one who lets his devotees win over him is called Chalaha. This is the greatness. Now, 6 qualities I've mentioned, 1, 2, 4. 3, 5, 6 is remaining. Correct? 1. For each of these qualities, I have to explain and tell one Nama. Then I have to explain the 6 questions of Yudhishthira. Kimekam Daivatam Loke, Kimmapyekam Parayanam. 6 questions and 6 answers given by Bhishmacharya. Then I have to take up a few namas from Nisamhavataram, Kurmavataram, Gajendra Moksham, Ramavataram, then Archiradigati, then Purusha Sukta Bhashyam. All this comes in Sahasranamam. I have to explain at least 40-50 namas, if not 1000. So all that will happen from tomorrow. So you have a duty. First, I've noted down every person who has come here. So you should come tomorrow. So we have taken a drone shot. You'll get, if you go against the rules, you'll get the ticket in your house here. So you'll get the ticket. We will send. So come tomorrow. 6:30 sharp, we will start. It is 2 minutes, 44 seconds now. 2 hours, 44 seconds. I'll complete in 2 hours. Don't worry. Second, while you're coming, please bring another friend along. See, how will dharma prosper? We don't have money to tell, okay, I'll give you 2 sacks of rice. Come. We don't have money. We don't have that guts to say, if you don't come to my dharma, I will cut you. That we don't have that gunam. We don't have money to lure people. We don't have the ayudham to cause fear in them. The only way to sustain and grow Sanatana Dharma is through jnana. You bring 10 people, they will sit. See, nothing that this lecture is not at all comprehensible, sir. It is beyond my realm of understanding. They will reach Schrödinger equation and Bernoulli's equation. They can't understand Chalaha. How is this possible? Parashara Bhatta is so nice. He has made it so accessible to us. So please bring another friend of yours. If you're a Telugu speaking person, you tell them. Problem లేదండి చాగంటి గారు షణ్ముఖ శర్మ గారు గరికపాటి వారి పక్క ఉన్న ఆ వైదుష్య పూర్తి లేదు పర్వాలేదు అయితే మాట్లాడతారు రండి ఎవరు కుటుంబం ఏనిಲ್ಲ సార్ ಏನೋ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ವೀಣಾ ಸ್ಟೋರ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಗೋ ಇಡ್ಲಿ ತರ ಇರಲ್ಲ ಆದ್ರೇನೋ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. Bring them, bring Gujarati speaking people, bring Hindi. Why have I chosen English? Initially Rajaji Mama suggested we should have it only Tamil. I said, see, I've been giving a lot of Tamil discourses, which is my mother tongue as well. But we should also understand that as Bharatiyas, at least through civilizational connect, we are not against any language. Bhasha Geeti Prashasta. Of course, mother tongue has its own specialty. For Telugu speaking person, Telugu is important. For a Malayalam speaking person, Malayalam is beautiful, no doubt. But as a civilization, we won't say that we will speak only in Sanskrit. No. Alvar Pasurams are in Tamil. Abhangs are in Marathi. Every piece, every language is beautiful. But sadly, we don't have one connecting language. That is when three acharyas, Rennacharya, Martinacharya, and Maharagni Srimata Elizabeth Rani. Three of them have given us this language called English, which is stitching us and binding us all together. So I requested Rajaji Mama that I speak in English all the days. So if I have to justify my stand, you have to bring people from the larger diaspora to this lecture. You ask them, see, some of them may not be used to sitting for two. First of all, they'll get 2 hours. One place where we'll talk for 2 hours without drinking water. I talk for 3 hours. This is 2 hours. Too little. I talk more than Bahubali duration. PS2's duration also, I will talk more than that. But 2 hours, Rajaji Mama said, beyond 2 hours, Nane Ukar Mate. So 2 hours I'm speaking. No problem. Please bring them. Please bring the young children as long as they don't make much noise. Then this will not be Vishnu Sahasranamam Mahatmiyam. Kishkinda. So bring children also. If they have got little exams, you tell them, if you listen to Vishnu Sahasranamam, you will pass. I'll tell some secret namas also how to pass. Okay. So bring them. Please come. Just 4 more days. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Saturday, because from Saturday I got Bhagavata Saptaha in Seattle. Okay, from yesterday I finished it in the evening in Bay Area and I came here. From here I'm going to Seattle. My duty is to carry Mahabharatam everywhere. Your duty is to bring one person. Some of you will adjust. We'll adjust, don't worry. Okay, Bay Area we had 1,000 people on a weekday. So match Bay Area. Bring them here. Kavitartika Simhaya Kalyana Gunashaline Srimade Venkateshaya Vedanta Gurave Namaha Swasti Prajabhya Paripalayatram Nyayena Madhyena Mahishaha Gotamane Shubhamastu Nityam Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Kayena Vacha Manasendriyeva Vidyarthanava Padavesvabhava Karoni Yatya Sakalam Parasmi Srimanarayanaya Samarpayami Kalyana Rupaya Kalau Jananam Kalyana Datre Karuna Sudhapte Kambali Divya Yudha Satkaraya Vahanayadhisha Namo Namaste Narayana Narayana Narayana